Yo, what's up, guitar friends? Larry Tamanini here with Jazz Guitar Under 5 Minutes. I might go over a little bit today because I'm talking about one of my favorite topics, and that is a couple of things that you can do to help you sound like the great Pat Martino. You just caught me here in the gig simulator playing through a tune called Minority, written by G.G. Grice, one of Philly's own. Anyway, Pat Martino played this to great effect on his album called Strings with Joe Farrell. I believe it's a 67 or 68 release. Cedar Walton, super swinging record, obviously features Pat at like peak performance, right? Something about like Pat Martino from like the years 1964 to 1968. He was the middleweight champion of the guitar. And you could really characterize Pat's sound and playing by the ferocity and strength of his eighth notes and his very sharp articulation. And I'm not talking like sharp as in he's sharp. It's very intense, very articulated sound. Much like Train's sort of, heavy embouchure sound on the tenor, or Michael Brecker's sound. Just immediately identifiable. Sure, Pat's playing a lot of the same vocabulary as we all do, but something about the way his eighth notes worked is just marvelous. So, without further ado, I'm going to start talking about the one exercise that I learned from Pat that you heard me play over my first chorus of Minority, which is sort of like a lick that he uses in a bunch of different ways. And then we're going to kind of talk about his eighth note feel and his articulation. Maybe a couple other little tricks. Somebody would say, Larry, can you do your best Pat Martino impression? And I would say, hey man, anyone is truly a genius when they're operating within their own parameters. All right, that was pretty good, right? But my vocal impression of Pat and my guitar, well, first of all, my guitar playing is a homage to Pat. I would not be playing the guitar if it wasn't for Pat Martino. And my father was a big part of that. Sometimes all you got to do is get a jazz guitar legend, some parking spots in South Philadelphia, and a lot of amazing things can happen. Anyways, so check it out. The lick that you heard me play, and I played it in pretty much, this is a great song because it's all 2/5s, but you heard me play it in F. And then he does it in C, and just like the way the song moves, B flat, A flat, G flat, and then finally, right? So after studying with Pat, it would not be fair to equate his playing and reduce his playing to his minor conversion concept. I think for Pat, it's a brilliant way to look at things. For mere mortals, you got to have two requirements, right? If you want to start implementing this minor conversion concept. Because again, you're going to get into trouble if you're thinking, oh, well, C minor, you can play. And then if you see F7, you're going to be like, okay. And then if you see like E flat major or E flat major sharp 11 or whatever, and then you think, And if you think A minor 7 flat 5, a lot of that stuff can work over those lines. And you kind of heard me play Pat's 8th note, something that I've worked on. I'm not trying to say I'm some authority on it, but I've certainly spent a lot of time trying to cop his 8th note feel. And again, the minor conversion concept. If it's F7, it's C minor. If it's A minor 7 flat 5, it's C minor. If it's E flat major 7, it's C minor. If it's B7 altered, it's C minor. Okay, there's a lot that you can kind of use for that, but it's certainly not applicable in every scenario. The two things you need to have to really make Pat's minor conversion concept work is a great bebop vocabulary. Bebop! I say it a lot, but it's really important. And does bebop vocabulary mean licks? Yes. Does it mean like knowing a bunch of melodies on guitar? Yes. Just having a lot of vocabulary is going to be great. And then the next thing you need is a really good 8th note feel. You got to be swinging. None of the stuff you're going to try to play is going to sound good if you're not swinging. Okay? So this is why it's a great idea. And this is how we're going to learn it, right? This is the first lesson I ever had with Pat in 1996. The first thing he showed me was, Larry, we're going to be talking about some areas of activity today. And the line that he played for me is that, right? It's a C minor line. Sounds like a lick, because it is a lick. It's not the lick, which is, but it's close to the lick. It's a lick. And you could obviously go through this in scales or arpeggios, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that. But it sure makes a big difference when you're trying to play vocabulary and you're trying to emulate not just the notes, but to get like the feel happening. There's a certain accent. It's almost like a contour you can hear in Pat's playing when he's just playing 8th notes. And it's not just the contour of the line that he's playing. It's the way that he's accenting those notes that makes it work. So check it out. What he gave me is this line, and I'm going to play this line going down in whole steps. B flat, A flat, G flat. Now I'm in E, now I'm in D, now I'm back to C, and I'm going to keep it going. B flat, A flat, G flat, E, D. I'm at a different C now. Now I'm kind of playing A flat, I'm getting into the guitar, there's E, there's D, and then I'm gonna pick the C up right here. Now I'm gonna try to jump around. Right? And I ended up sort of in that same register, but off of a different C. So you heard me just cover like 3 octaves, which is a lot. You can say pretty much what you want to say. If you have like an 1.5 octave reach, 2 octaves is better. Having a 3 octave reach or just possibility of stretching your ideas is only going to make you a better player. And pretty much all I did was recycle that line. Now, since I went from different strings, right, it would be really easy if I just stayed on this string and rode the pattern all the way. And this is something that we can do as guitar players, but we're cheating. Now, I kind of can't keep the same fingering either. I guess I could. Right? It kind of takes you way around that way. But really the key is getting inside. So I'm going to play this idea right there. Now I'm here. Now I'm using my first pinky, first finger, pinky, first finger. Oops. Whoops. Sorry, Pat. Right? And you see like I'm using those shapes. Why does this work? Well, on a song like this, it works great, right? Because the whole second half of the song, actually, more than the second half, you have, after it says this F, 2-5 to F, right? Does that again. And then I'm kind of just going down just a step, right? This is a perfect song to work on your Pat Martino stuff because I'm going down in 2/5, C minor, B flat, A flat, and G flat. Now that's pretty much what we worked on. And I think throughout the sequence, I tried to play in a couple different ideas. There's another great Pat Martino lick, right? Right? Going from that flat 9. And then, you know, when you're trying to do your Pat has a great way of resolving what he plays, but still kind of bleeding through to the next chord. He kind of resolves his ideas in different spots, and it's pretty interesting, where he could take an idea and maybe play something like this while the line is still minor and kind of keep it going. Another thing that you heard me do with Pat is he likes to sort of connect his ideas while, you know, the music is happening. So he might take an... So what I ended up doing there, right? That's a cool line. But again, I played the same thing. And there he is, kind of resolving to your next idea. Really, really strong articulator. I think about players like John Coltrane, maybe Dexter Gordon, guys that have that real, like that articulation. Maybe whereas Dexter Gordon will be like leaning back, Pat will have that same kind of way of articulating but playing on top. It might sound weird on other instruments to do that. I mean, maybe I can't imagine a trumpet player or a sax player like trying to phrase like the way Pat does. Sometimes he has those sort of, you know, staccato sort of ideas that he likes to play. But again, on the guitar, it's just like a magical combination of really having that super strong articulation. So when I played through this in this song, again, it's great because it's a 16 bar tune. And, you know, you have this 2/5 and F, right? And then it's a bunch of other 2/5s that end up getting back to the original 2/5. But instead of like maybe going 1 or 2 steps up, I'm approaching it from C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G. I don't want to say C flat, right? But anyway, after they play this, they just go up that half step. So it's almost like an exercise kind of tune. You know, I feel like it's like maybe like the teenage version of Tune Up, because, you know, you have a little bit more tempo. Maybe the keys are a little bit more fun to play in. And instead of just having like 3 whole steps, you get like that extra 4th one in there. So check it out, jazz guitar friends. If you made it this long, thanks for hanging out with me. And Hershey, he seems to be pretty thrilled. Dude is just totally crashed out there on the couch. It's really hot here. I don't blame him. Anyways, so LT Jazz Guitar, if you like this video, feel free to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I surely appreciate all the support. Keep swinging. Work on your 8th notes. Work on learning your guitar. Summertime's a great time to hit the shed. I'll be back with some more content from either the Gig Simulator or Real Gig or one of these videos from LT Jazz Guitar. Stay cool. Bebop.